I never thought I'd see my name stamped across classified files, passed like contraband into the hands of the very people I was risking everything to expose. That's the kind of betrayal that doesn't just bruise, it brands you. And the worst part, the person who sold me out wasn't some faceless official in a gray suit. It was someone I trusted, someone I thought was fighting beside me. But I'll get to him later. First, you need to understand how a man like me ended up being hunted by his own government. My name is Christopher Ziegler. I was a contractor inside the Department of Energy, buried deep in the archives of data no one outside those walls was ever supposed to see. My job was simple on paper: monitor reports, file discrepancies, and make sure no red flags got overlooked. But the deeper I went, the more I saw things that gnawed at me. Reports of missing funds disguised as infrastructure upgrades, safety violations buried under bureaucratic jargon, and worst of all, evidence that contracts worth billions were being funneled to companies tied to certain politicians. I couldn't look away. Not anymore. That's when I started pulling files. Quietly at first, like dipping a toe into freezing water. A PDF here, a spreadsheet there. I told myself I'd just keep them for my own conscience, in case one day it mattered. But conscience has a way of growing heavier. Within 6 months, I had a drive full of documents that could topple more than just careers. They could bring down entire administrations. I knew I couldn't do it alone. That's when I brought in Charles Tillman. Charles wasn't just a colleague, he was my closest friend inside the system. Charismatic, politically connected, the kind of guy who knew how to smooth-talk senators over cocktails, but still made you believe he cared about the truth. When I told him what I'd found, he didn't flinch. He leaned in, eyes burning with that righteous fire I thought we both shared, and said, "Christopher, this could change everything. We have to do this right. No leaks until we've secured protection. Trust me." And I did. God help me, I did. Weeks turned into months as we built our case. Charles connected me with so-called allies and advocacy groups, lawyers who specialized in whistleblower protections, even a journalist or two who swore they could shield me. Every time I hesitated, Charles pushed me forward. "This is bigger than us," he'd say. "History's watching." He made me believe I wasn't just another bureaucrat sneaking files. I was a soldier in a quiet war for justice. But justice has a price, and I didn't know Charles had already sold mine. The first sign came one night when I noticed a black SUV idling outside my apartment longer than it should have. Then another time, different car, same tinted windows, same stillness. My phone calls started echoing strangely, as if someone else was on the line. Emails I never sent appeared in my drafts. At first, I thought paranoia was chewing at me. But paranoia is just early recognition, isn't it? The truth hit me when I arranged to meet Charles at a quiet diner on the edge of town. He was late, which wasn't unusual, but when he finally walked in, something about his eyes was wrong. They were calm, too calm, like he knew what was coming. He slid into the booth across from me, ordered coffee he didn't drink, and said, "Christopher, you need to trust the process. The people you think are hunting you, they're not the enemy." That's when it clicked. He'd handed me over. I wanted to reach across the table, shake him, scream, demand why. But my instinct screamed louder. They were watching, maybe even listening right now. If I made a scene, I'd be in cuffs before the check arrived. So I swallowed the fury, nodded, pretended to believe him. Inside, though, something broke. That night, I packed a bag and vanished. For weeks, I lived like a fugitive. Cheap motels, burner phones, paying cash for everything. Every shadow looked like an agent. Every knock on the door sounded like the end. And all the while, Charles played his part on the outside, attending rallies, making speeches about accountability, even giving interviews about corruption in the system. He wore the mask of an ally while tightening the noose around my neck. I almost gave up. I almost believed I was finished. But then came the break I didn't expect. One of the files I'd pulled early on, a nondescript email chain about contract renewals, contained something Charles hadn't realized. Hidden in the metadata was proof that his private consultancy had received payments from the very companies we were investigating. Not small sums either. Millions funneled through shell entities, landing squarely in accounts tied to his firm. My betrayer hadn't just sold me out, he was profiting from the corruption itself. That gave me leverage. I knew I couldn't go to the mainstream press. They were compromised, terrified, or both. But I had another option, the people. Using encrypted networks, I began releasing pieces of the evidence, each tied directly to Charles's financial ties. First a document here, then a spreadsheet, then the damning metadata itself. I didn't attach my name, not at first. I wanted the story to breathe, to spread like wildfire without being dismissed as the ramblings of a desperate fugitive. And it worked. Social media lit up. Hashtags trended. Questions swirled. How could Charles Tillman, the so-called whistleblower's champion, be taking money from the very corporations under fire? The more he denied, the deeper I cut, until finally I had no choice but to step into the light. I hacked into a live stream Charles was hosting with a prominent news outlet. He was mid-sentence, talking about the bravery of those who speak truth to power, when the feed split-screened. On one side, his polished face, smooth as ever. On the other, my face, tired, gaunt, but unbroken. "This is Christopher Ziegler," I said, voice steady despite the adrenaline ripping through me. "The man sitting beside you isn't a hero. He's a traitor. He sold me out to the government, and he's been lining his pockets with dirty money while pretending to fight for the people." The chat exploded. Viewers demanded proof. That's when I dropped it all. Documents, bank records, the metadata trail. Receipts Charles couldn't spin. His mask slipped in real time, panic seeping into every word as he scrambled to regain control. But it was too late. The story was out. The people weren't just watching, they were judging. For the first time, Charles couldn't charm his way out. He stammered, he sweated, and finally he broke. On live stream. The ally who betrayed me was exposed in front of the world. The aftermath wasn't clean. I'm still hunted, still looking over my shoulder. But now I'm not just a fugitive. I'm a voice. People know the truth, and Charles's name is scorched earth. His career ended not with applause, but with condemnation. The very system he thought he was serving spit him out. And me? I carry the scars, the paranoia, the endless nights of running. But I also carry something stronger, the knowledge that even when betrayal cuts deepest, the truth can still carve its way back. If you've ever been sold out by someone you trusted, if you've ever watched a friend turn your life into a bargaining chip, remember this. Betrayal isn't just the end of trust. It can be the beginning of justice. My name is Christopher Ziegler, and I'm still here. This story may be over, but the betrayals never stop. Like this video, share it with your circle, and subscribe to Chronicles of Revenge so you don't miss what's coming next. Another shocking story is just one click away below.